Thank you, Judge Top. Those are the reasons on our Milk and Yearling class in our Brown Swiss breed. Winning the class is entry number 3, also first Kentucky owned, Rough Road Deluxe Panera, exhibited by Jeremy and Kelsey Kinslow of Smith Grove, Kentucky. Second in our Milk and Yearling class was entry number 30, Just So Sea Fortress, exhibited by Brian Neerman of Brownstown, Indiana. Now entering the ring in our Brown Swiss show is our Summer Junior 2-year-old class. Now that we're underway with our shows, it's a good time to introduce our judges. Again, you've heard from our Brown Swiss judge already, Phil Topp from Botkins, Ohio. Phil and his wife Carrie have 3 children. Aubrey, who's 20, Aiden is 18, and Elena, 16. They have a small herd of registered dairy cattle consisting of every breed. Phil has judged 6 times in Kentucky at the State Fair and the North American, and he's certainly judged at local, state, and regional and national shows across North America, and including certainly several times at World Dairy Expo. So we welcome Phil Topp, a very experienced judge, here to our Brown Swiss ring. Over in our Milking Shorthorn ring, we welcome another Ohio native, Preston Sheets. Preston resides in Kinsman, Ohio, where he helps farm alongside his family and works for Select Sires as the Dairy Development Programs Advisor, overseeing the company's young sire programs. Preston is a graduate of both The Ohio State University and Cornell University, where he studied dairy business management and applied genetics. Before joining Select Sires, Preston worked as a professional dairy cattle fitter, helping prepare numerous champions at national shows across North America. Alongside his role at Select Sires, Preston manages a select group of high-type show heifers focused on developing and marketing cattle that compete at regional, state, and national shows. He's enjoyed considerable success in both the show and sale ring, owning, exhibiting, and selling multiple junior and open All-American nominees in the Brown Swiss, Ayrshire, and Red and White breeds. Preston has judged numerous local and state level shows throughout the United States, as well as abroad, where he has had opportunities in both Japan and Costa Rica. We thank both of our judges from Ohio for joining us here today at the Kentucky State Fair. Welcome. Over in our Brown Swiss show ring, Judge Topp's completed his placing in our Summer Junior 2-year-old class. Placing second in the class is entry number 10, Alpine Hills Top Gun Maverick, exhibited by Caleb Lips and Grant Mitchell of Shelbyville, Kentucky. She's also our second Kentucky-owned animal. And winning the class is entry number 8, also first Kentucky-owned, Brown Heaven Famous Ticks, exhibited by Archie Sparrow and Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. Congratulations. Judge Phil Top, your comments on our summer junior 2-year-old class. If you turn your attention over to our milking Shorthorn show ring, Judge Sheets has completed his placing in our spring heifer calf class. Second in the class and second Kentucky owned is entry number 9, Lazy M. Greek Lillian, exhibited by Bailey and Tate Komar of Glasgow, Kentucky. Winning the class and also first Kentucky owned is entry number 8, Windcrest Anheuser, exhibited by Jesse and Kylie Muse of Glasgow, Kentucky. Congratulations. Judge, your thoughts on our spring calf class?
Well, over here in our milking Shorthorn ring, we have a wonderful start to the day. A lot of nice calves all the way down the line. That being said, I think the calf that wins today, she just overwhelms you in her dairy strength, style, and balance. A heifer that's so square in her frame, level from hooks to pins, so pretty up through her shoulder and tracks on a nice set of feet and legs. It's up through her shoulder there that takes us over another really nice cut calf that comes out in second. Calf that comes out in second, you have to admire the openness and sweep she has to her rib. I'd just like to see her be a little more chiseled up through her crop region today to compete with our first place calf. Calves that come out in third and fourth aren't the biggest heifers in the class, but two really nice heifers in their own right. Heifer that comes out in third, I'm going to give the advantage today. The way she holds her loin when she's on the move, she blends in a little nicer behind her shoulder compared to the young lady's red calf that comes out in fourth. Calf that comes out in fifth, a really, really nice, well-grown calf. Heifer, I'd just like to see hold her loin a little better, especially when she's on the move, have a little bit more flex to her rear hock today to compete with our heifers in front of her. But she uses that size and scale and dairiness and femininity up through her head and neck to place over our heifer that comes out in sixth. Congratulations.
There were 10 spring calves exhibited in our Milking Shorthorn show this afternoon. Our winner and first Kentucky owned was entry number 8, Windcrest Anheuser, exhibited by Jesse and Kylie Muse of Glasgow, Kentucky. Second in the class and second Kentucky owned was entry number 9, Lazy M. Greek Lillian, exhibited by Bailey and Tate Komar of Glasgow, Kentucky. Third in the class was entry number 15, Marley Renegade Aurora, exhibited by Jeremy and Kelsey Kinslow of Smiths Grove, Kentucky. Fourth to entry number 13, Lazy M. Bender Around, exhibited by Kenna Jones of Edmonton, Kentucky. Fifth in the class, to entry number 7, Coral Hill McGriddle, exhibited by Bailey and Tate Komar of Glasgow, Kentucky. Sixth to entry number 11, Sequa Bonby Hot Fudge Drizzle, exhibited by Austin Godwin of Sequa Bonby Farms of Daleville, Indiana. Seventh in the class, to entry number 4, Almost Paradise Money Pebbles, exhibited by Milk and Duds Farm of Daleville, Indiana. Eighth in the class, entry number 5, 3R Standing Outside the Fire, exhibited by Raylan Tucker of Shelbyville, Kentucky. Ninth, entry number 10, Molehill Tanbark Fireball, exhibited by Rylan and Raylan Tucker of Shelbyville, Kentucky. And 10th in the class, entry number 12, Molehill Just Fired Up, exhibited by John Ford of Lebanon, Kentucky. Now entering the ring in our Milking Shorthorn show is our winter calf class. We'll catch up with our catalog in the Brown Swiss show. Our summer junior 2-year-old, our winner was entry number 8, also first Kentucky owned, Brown Heaven Famous Ticks, exhibited by Archie Sparrow and Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. Second in that class was entry number 10, Alpine Hills Top Gun Maverick, exhibited by Caleb Lips and Grant Mitchell of Shelbyville, Kentucky. And third in that class was entry number 7, Miami Hills Rampage Delilah, exhibited by Miami Hills Swiss of Logansport, Indiana. In our Brown Swiss ring, Judge Top has completed his placing in our junior 2-year-old class with a pair of junior 2-year-olds. Second in the class and first Kentucky owned is entry number 13, Alpine Hills Power of Grace, exhibited by Caleb Lips of Shelbyville, Kentucky. And winning the class is entry number 12, Miami Hills Rampage Deluxe, exhibited by Miami Hills Swiss of Logansport, Indiana. Judge, your comments on our pair of junior 2-year-olds. Congratulations again to our winning junior 2-year-old in the brown Swiss ring, entry number 12, Miami Hills Rampage Deluxe, exhibited by Miami Hills Swiss of Logansport, Indiana. Second in the class and first Kentucky owned to entry number 13, Alpine Hills Power of Grace, exhibited by Caleb Lips and Grant Mitchell of Shelbyville, Kentucky. Now entering the ring in our brown Swiss show is our senior 2-year-old class. Over in our Brown Swiss show ring, Judge Phil Top has completed his placing in our senior 2-year-old class. Second in the class and second Kentucky owned is entry number 21, Edgeview C. Rhinestone, exhibited by Ridgeline and Lakin Taylor of Edmonton, Kentucky. Winning the class and also first Kentucky owned is entry number 20, Edgeview C. Florence, exhibited by Archie Sparrow and Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. Judge, your thoughts on our senior 2-year-olds?
Class of senior 2-year-olds. Let's give them another nice round of applause.
If you turn your attention over to our Milking Shorthorn show ring, Judge Sheets has completed his placings in our winter calf class. Second in the class and first Kentucky owned is entry number 18, Lazy M. J.K. Lars Luxury, exhibited by Quisenberry, Buckley, and Kinslow of Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. Winning the class is entry number 24, Benter Bender's Lyrical, exhibited by Benter Family Farms of Brownstown, Indiana. Judge Sheets, your thoughts on our winter calf class?
Well, what another wonderful class of calves here in our milking shorthorn ring. All different shapes and sizes out here, but I think our first two heifers in first and second lined up to the front pretty handily. Close placing for me. I'm going to give the advantage to the heifer in first today, a heifer that's just so much wider all the way throughout, wider through her front end, wider back through her hooks and pins, and showing more spring and depth of rib, especially when viewed from behind, compared to our really ultra dairy flashy calf that comes out in second. Calf that comes out in second, you have to admire the high style this calf has. She uses advantage on rear feet and legs to go over our really flashy, large, well-grown calf that comes out in third. Calf that comes out in third's ultra dairy calf. Calf, you love the width she has between her ribs, the femininity she has up through her head and neck, and it's that overall femininity that takes her over our really strong roan calf that comes out here in fourth. Calf that comes out in fourth gives you so many good looks. Heifer, I'd just like to see her be a little stronger over her top, especially in her crops and back. Hold her pins a little neater when she's on the move. Heifer, I'd like to see her have a little bit more strength to her pastern as well. But she uses her overall width and mass and depth and openness of rib to go over our really flashy calf that comes out in fifth. Fifth over sixth for me today. It's just the advantage in dairiness all the way throughout. A little cleaner down through her thigh, a little deeper through her forerib. But again, what a wonderful class of calves.
There were 9 winter calves exhibited in our Milking Shorthorn show this afternoon. Our winner was entry number 24, Benter Bender's Lyrical, exhibited by Benter Family Farms of Brownstown, Indiana. Second in the class and first Kentucky owned is entry number 18, Lazy M. J.K. Lars Luxury, exhibited by Quisenberry, Buckley, and Kinslow of Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. Third in the class and second Kentucky owned, entry number 25, Logsdon's Inspired Nevia P, exhibited by Gracie Logsdon and McCoy Kinslow of Park City, Kentucky. Fourth in the class, entry number 21, Almost Paradise Money Squirt, exhibited by Malkindud's Farm of Daleville, Indiana. Fifth, entry number 23, MJKCCK Laser Willow, exhibited by Caden Cold Huffman of Summershade, Kentucky. Sixth in the class, entry number 22, Sagasser Bender Annie, exhibited by Sophie Franklin of Waddy, Kentucky. Seventh in the class, entry number 20, High Clay Dottie, exhibited by Colton and Kate Huffman and Alan Hood of Summershade, Kentucky. Eighth in the class, entry number 17, Molehill Premium Backdraft, exhibited by Ryan and Raylan Tucker of Shelbyville, Kentucky. And ninth in the class, entry 19, BH Bow Dingo, exhibited by Kaylee Prather of Taylorsville, Kentucky. Now entering the ring in our Milking Shorthorn show is our Fall Heifer Calf class. Catching up in our Brown Swiss show from our senior 2-year-old class, there were 6 senior 2-year-olds exhibited. Our winner and first Kentucky owned was entry number 20, Edgeview C. Florence, exhibited by Archie Sparrow of Fairdale Farm in Worthville, Kentucky. Second in the class, entry number 21. She's also second Kentucky owned, Edgeview C. Rhinestone, exhibited by Ridgeline and Lakin Taylor of Edmonton, Kentucky. Third in the class, entry number 16, Rough Road K. Pirate, exhibited by Jeremy and Kelsey Kinslow of Smiths Grove, Kentucky. Fourth in the class to Edgeview, number 15, Edgeview K. Daffodil, owned by Archie Sparrow and Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. Fifth to entry number 18, Blessing CNJ Collapse Nana, exhibited by Braden and Camden Neerman of Brownstown, Indiana. And sixth in the class to entry number 19, Twin Gates Series Surprise, exhibited by Brayton and Camden Neerman of Brownstown, Indiana. Now in the ring, in our Brown Swiss show, is our junior 3-year-old cow class. And Judge Phil Top has completed his placing in the class. Second in the class to entry number 129, Knapp Daredevil Dia, exhibited by Knapp and Buckley of Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. And winning the class, and also first Kentucky owned, is entry number 23, R&R Daredevil Janny, exhibited by Archie Sparrow and Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. Congratulations. Judge, your thoughts on our junior 3-year-olds? Congratulations once again to the winner of that Brown Swiss Junior 3-year-old class, first Kentucky owned, entry number 23, R&R Daredevil Janny, exhibited by Archie Sparrow of Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. Second in the class, entry number 129, Knapp Daredevil Dia, exhibited by Knapp and Buckley of Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. And third in the class, entry number 25, Miami Hills Rampage Dime, exhibited by Miami Hills Swiss of Logansport, Indiana. Now entering the ring for Judge Phil Top is our senior 3-year-old class in the Brown Swiss breed. Over in our Brown Swiss show ring, Judge Tops completed his placing in our senior 3-year-old cow class. Second in the class is entry number 28, Edgeview F. Flora, exhibited by Brayton and Camden Neerman of Brownstown, Indiana. Winning the class, first Kentucky owned, and also winning the production award is entry number 31, Pit Crew O'Malley Patty, exhibited by Archie Sparrow of Fairdale Farm in Worthville, Kentucky. Congratulations. Judge, your thoughts on our senior 3-year-olds? Congratulations to the winner of our senior 3-year-old class once again. Also first Kentucky owned, and winning the production award is entry number 31, Pit Crew O'Malley Patty, exhibited by Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. Second in the class, entry number 28, Edgeview F. Flora, exhibited by Brayton and Camden Neerman of Brownstown, Indiana. And third in the class, and second Kentucky owned, to entry number 26, Bittersweet Biniam Real Deal, exhibited by Kaylee Prather of Taylorsville, Kentucky. Now entering the ring are those cows that were first and second in our young cow show here this afternoon, and they're competing for the title of intermediate champion of our Kentucky State Fair Brown Swiss show. Certainly want to reintroduce those cows to you along with their exhibitors. There were 2 milking yearlings. Our winner was entry number 3, Rough Road Deluxe Panera, exhibited by Jeremy and Kelsey Kinslow of Smiths Grove, Kentucky. Second milking yearling was entry number 30, Just So Sea Fortress, exhibited by Brian Neerman of Brownstown, Indiana. We had 3 summer junior 2-year-olds. Our winner was entry number 8, Brown Heaven Famous Ticks, exhibited by Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. Second in the class to entry number 10, Alpine Hills Top Gun Maverick, exhibited by Caleb Lips and Grant Mitchell of Shelbyville, Kentucky. There were 2 junior 2-year-olds. Our class winner was entry number 12, Miami Hills Rampage Deluxe, exhibited by Miami Hills Swiss of Logansport, Indiana. Second in that class was entry number 13, Alpine Hills Power of Grace, exhibited by Caleb Lips and Grant Mitchell of Shelbyville, Kentucky. There were 6 senior 2-year-olds exhibited. Our class winner was entry number 20, Edgeview C. Florence, exhibited by Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. Second in the class, entry number 21, Edgeview C. Rhinestone, exhibited by Ridgeline and Lakin Taylor of Edmonton, Kentucky. There were 3 junior 3-year-olds. Our class winner is entry number 23, R&R Daredevil Janny, exhibited by Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. Second, entry number 129, Knapp Daredevil Dia, exhibited by Knapp and Buckley of Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. And there were 3 senior 3-year-olds. Our class winner was entry number 31, Pit Crew O'Malley Patty, exhibited by Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. Second in the class, entry number 28, Edgeview F. Flora, exhibited by Brayton and Camden Neerman of Brownstown, Indiana. Congratulations to all our Brown Swiss exhibitors on a really fine young cow show. These are the animals competing for intermediate champion of the show. And over in our Milking Shorthorn show, Judge Sheets has completed his placings in our senior calf class. Second in the class is entry number 34, Mohill BF Mr. Chrome's Ziggy, exhibited by Peyton Tao of Scottsville, Kentucky. And winning the class is entry number 31, Kentucky Blue Sweet Tea, exhibited by Gibson and Markham of Eminence, Kentucky. Congratulations. Judge, your comments on our fall calf class.
Well, what another wonderful class all the way down the line. Heifers, different ages, different sizes and shapes. But for me today, I think the heifer that wins just does so on her overall balance. A heifer that's so long from head to tail, heifer that tracks so straight on her front legs, and heifer that's showing me the most depth of fore and rear rib. And it's that depth to a rear rib that takes us over a really strong heifer that comes out in second. Heifer that comes out in second, you have to admire how sharp she is over her top line, how smooth blending she is in her shoulder. Would just like to see her have a little bit more depth of rear rib and track a little straighter on her front feet today to compete with our first place heifer. Heifer that comes out in third, an ultra dairy, flashy heifer that really grabs your eye when you're looking at her from the center of the ring. Heifer, I'd just like to see her track straighter on her rear set of feet and legs, have a little less set and a little less hawk to them today to compete with our first two heifers. That being said, she uses that flashiness and femininity up through her head and neck to go over our roan calf that comes out in fourth. Calf that comes out in fourth over the calf that comes out in fifth, just on overall length from head to tail, width all the way throughout, spring to her midsection, to her fore and rear rib, over our nice calf that comes out in fifth. Heifer that comes out in fifth over our heifer that comes out in sixth. I'm going to give her the advantage on feet and legs today as well. You get these two heifers in line, you have to admire the length they have. Just prefer the set and angled to the heifer in fifth leg over the heifer in sixth, but wonderful class all the way down.
There were 9 fall calves in our milking shorthorn class. Our winner was entry number 31. She was also first Kentucky owned. Kentucky Blue Sweet Tea, exhibited by Gibson and Markham of Eminence, Kentucky. Second in the class to entry number 34. She was also second Kentucky owned. Mohill BF Mr. Chrome Ziggy, exhibited by Peyton Tao of Scottsville, Kentucky. Third to entry number 29. Lazy M Renegade Zendaya, exhibited by Jesse and Kylie Muse of Glasgow, Kentucky. Fourth in the class, entry number 28, Coral Hill Bella, exhibited by Bailey and Tate Komar of Glasgow, Kentucky. Fifth in the class, entry number 35, Leanne Akers Lars Cupcake, exhibited by Sheldon Thomas of Middlebury, Indiana. Sixth in the class, entry number 32, Lazy M Renegade Zoom, exhibited by Delaney and Riley Oliger of Hagerstown, Indiana. Seventh in the class, entry number 33, POM Bender Imelda Piper, exhibited by Stella and Sophie Franklin of Waddy, Kentucky. Eighth in the class, entry number 26, Hardcore Spider-Man Fireback P, exhibited by Ryan Atkins of Center, Kentucky. And ninth in the class, entry number 30, Mohill Inspired Abbey Road P, exhibited by John Ford of Lebanon, Kentucky. Now in the ring in our Milking Shorthorn show is our Summer Yearling class. Over in our Milking Shorthorn show ring, Judge Sheets has completed his placing in our summer yearling class. Second in the class is entry number 38, KEDR Calgary Baby Z, exhibited by Delaney and Riley Oliger of Hagerstown, Indiana. And winning the class is entry number 36, Benter Ventura Laura, exhibited by Benter Family Farms of Brownstown, Indiana. Congratulations. Judge, your comments on our summer yearling class.
Well, just three heifers out here, but three exceptional heifers in their own right. For me today, I think the top pair is really close for me. I'm going to give the advantage to the roan heifer. Heifer that I think steps with a little bit more flex to her rear hock when she's on the move. Heifer that I prefer the way her tail head sits down through her pins when she's on the move as well over our pretty red heifer that comes out in second. Heifer that comes out in second, you have to admire the femininity up through her head and neck, the way her shoulder blends into her region. Would just like to clean her up on her rear set of feet and legs today when she's on the move to go over our roan heifer that comes out in first. Heifer that comes out in third, a wonderful individual in her own right. I told the young man, heifer, I'd just like to see you have a little bit more width all the way throughout. Width up through her front end, back through her rib cage, and back through her rear legs, especially when she's standing in line compared to our first two calves. But what a wonderful class. Congratulations.
Congratulations to the winner of our summer yearling class in our Milking Shorthorn breed, entry number 36, Benter Ventura Laura, exhibited by Benter Family Farms of Brownstown, Indiana. Second in the class was entry number 38, KEDR Calgary Baby Z, exhibited by Delaney and Riley Oliger of Hagerstown, Indiana. And third in the class and first Kentucky owned was entry number 37, BH Comanche Super Naughty P, exhibited by Colton and Kate Huffman of Summershade, Kentucky. Now entering the ring in our Milking Shorthorn show is our spring yearling class.
What a young cow show.
Congratulations to the intermediate champion of our 2026 Kentucky State Fair Brown Swiss Show. She's our winning senior 2-year-old, entry number 20, Edgeview C. Florence, exhibited by Archie Sparrow, Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. Our reserve intermediate champion was second to her in that senior 2-year-old class, entry number 21, Edgeview C. Rhinestone, exhibited by Ridgeline and Lakin Taylor of Edmonton, Kentucky. And our honorable mention intermediate champion was our winning senior 3-year-old cow, entry number 31, Pit Crew O'Malley Patty, exhibited by Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. Congratulations. We'll take a few pictures here and then we'll move into our 4-year-old cow class in the Brown Swiss Show. Over in our Milking Shorthorn show, Judge Sheets has completed his placing in our spring yearling class. Second in the class and second Kentucky owned is entry number 45, Kentucky Blue HF Sprite, exhibited by Gibson and Stump of Eminence, Kentucky. And winning the class and also first Kentucky owned is entry number 46, Mile High Quiet Riot, exhibited by Lucas and Lillian Hayes of Broadhead, Kentucky. Congratulations. Judge, your thoughts on our spring yearlings?
Well, again, just three heifers in our milking shorthorn spring yearling class. But for me today, these two heifers come to the top quite handily for me. Two heifers that are so balanced, heifers that are complete. But I told the gentleman in line, for me today, I'm going to go with the heifer in first. She's just more functionally correct, especially on her rear set of feet and legs today. I prefer the slope from her hooks to pins, especially when she's on the move. Take nothing away from our ultra dairy heifer that comes out in second. Heifer, you have to love the length she has to her head and neck. Heifer, you have to love the spring to her forerib. And it's that spring to her forerib and rear rib that takes us over our strong heifer that comes out in third. Heifer that comes out in third, you have to admire her pointer shoulder and how smooth blending she is to her crops. Would just like to see her have more mass, especially to her midsection today, to compete with our first two heifers. But what a wonderful class.
Congratulations again to the winner of our spring yearling class in the Milking Shorthorn show, entry number 46, Mile High Quiet Riot, exhibited by Lucas and Lillian Hayes of Broadhead, Kentucky. Second in the class and second Kentucky owned was entry number 45, Kentucky Blue HF Sprite, exhibited by Gibson and Stump of Eminence, Kentucky. And third in the class, entry number 44, 3R Ruby Red Ruby, oh yes, exhibited by Raylan Tucker of Shelbyville, Kentucky. Now entering the ring in our Milking Shorthorn show is our winter yearling class. And over in our Brown Swiss show ring, Judge Top has completed his placing in our 4-year-old cow class. Second in the class is entry number 74, Edgeview F. Susie, exhibited by Knapp and Buckley of Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. Winning the class, first Kentucky owned, she also wins the production award, is entry number 36, Fairdale Kickstart Figgy, exhibited by Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. Congratulations. Judge, your comments on our 4-year-olds. Congratulations to the winner of our 4-year-old class in the Brown Swiss breed, entry number 36. She's also first Kentucky owned and the production award winner, Fairdale Kickstart Figgy, exhibited by Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. Second in the class, entry number 74, Edgeview F. Susie, exhibited by Knapp and Buckley of Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. Third, entry number 34, Neerman's Formula Delightful, exhibited by Braden and Camden Neerman of Brownstown, Indiana. And fourth in the class and second Kentucky owned to entry number 35, Alpine Hills Kickstart June, exhibited by Caleb Lips and Grant Mitchell of Shelbyville, Kentucky. Now entering the ring in our Brown Swiss show is our 5-year-old class. Over in our Milking Shorthorn show ring, Judge Sheet has completed his placing in our Winter Yearling Heifer class. Second in the class is entry number 48, Hardcore PV Cyride Sailor, exhibited by Nolan Tillman Peters and Bentner Family Farms of Brownstown, Indiana. Winning the class and also first Kentucky owned is entry number 49, Molehills Inspired Arrogance, exhibited by Taylor Graves of Danville, Kentucky. Congratulations. Judge, your thoughts on our Winter Yearling class?
Well, what a wonderful class of winter yearlings. We have some heifers up here at the top that are shortbred, but for me today, I think we have a handy winner, a heifer that just excels in her overall balance, a heifer that has so much width down through her chest floor, heifer that you have to admire the way her rear feet follow her front feet when she tracks. And I'm going to give her the advantage today over our growthy heifer that comes out in second, just on the width she has back through her rump, especially through her thurls and her pins, the way her tail head sits down between her pins when she's on the move as well. Take nothing away from our heifer that comes out in second. Heifer, you have to love the openness, spring, and depth she has to her midsection. I'm going to give this heifer in second the advantage today in the way she holds her loin when she's on the move over our really strong heifer that comes out in third. Heifer that comes out in third, heifer, you have to love the depth she has to her forerib. We'd just like to lengthen her out, especially in her head and neck, and strengthen her out in her loin region today to get up any higher in the class. But she uses that depth of forerib to go over our really nice strong heifer that comes out in fourth. Our heifer that comes out in fourth, another heifer you have to admire for her strength and balance. Heifer, I'd just like to see her be a little cleaner down through her thigh today to get any higher in the class. But what a wonderful class of winter yearlings.
If you turn your attention over to our Brown Swiss show ring, Judge Tops completed his placing in our 5-year-old class. Second in the class, second Kentucky owned, and winning the production award is entry number 42, Shiloh F. Martini Talo, exhibited by Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. Winning the class and also first Kentucky owned is entry number 40, Edgeview D. Sesame, exhibited by Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. Congratulations. Judge, your thoughts on our 5-year-old brown Swiss cows?
For 5-year-olds.
Congratulations again to the winner of our 5-year-old class in the Brown Swiss show. Entry number 40, she was also first Kentucky owned, Edgeview D. Sesame, exhibited by Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. Second in the class, second Kentucky owned, and winning the production award was entry number 42, Shiloh F. Martini Tallow, exhibited by Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. And third in the class was entry number 41, Dryvale P. Wilma, exhibited by Brian Neerman of Brownstown, Indiana. Now entering the ring in our Brown Swiss show is our age cow class. Over in our Milking Shorthorn show, we'll catch up in our catalog from our Winter Yearling class. There were 6 Winter Yearlings exhibited. Our winner and first Kentucky owned was entry number 49, Molehills Inspired Arrogance, exhibited by Taylor Graves of Danville, Kentucky. Second in the class, entry number 48, Hardcore PV Cyride Sailor, exhibited by Noel and Tillman Peters and Benter Family Farms of Brownstown, Indiana. Third in the class and second Kentucky owned to entry number 54, Lazy M Livin' on Money, exhibited by Bailey and Tate Komar of Glasgow, Kentucky. Fourth in the class, entry number 52, POM Justice Ethel Dolly, exhibited by Stella and Sophie Franklin of Waddy, Kentucky. Fifth, entry number 50, GE Windy Hollow Bo Marley, exhibited by Kaylee Prather of Taylorsville, Kentucky. And sixth in the class, entry number 53, Dairy Air Bender Millie, exhibited by Hatfield Chambers and Ridings of Lebanon Junction, Kentucky. Now in the ring in our Milking Shorthorn show is our fall yearling class. Judge Sheets has completed his placing over in our fall yearling class in the Milking Shorthorn show. Second in the class, entry number 56, Henkasine Bend Realistic, exhibited by Josie LaFollette of Charlestown, Indiana. Winning the class and also first Kentucky owned is entry number 57, G.E. Bentner Warrior No Lie, exhibited by Peyton Tull of Scottsville, Kentucky. Congratulations. Judge, your comments on our pair of fall yearlings.
Well, just two fall yearlings out here in our class today, and for me today, our class winner just overwhelms our heifer that comes out in second on overall size, scale, and mass. A heifer that's longer from head to tail, showing more depth and spring to both fore and rear rib today, and she tracks a little straighter on her rear set of feet and legs. Take nothing away from our ultra dairy heifer that comes out in second. Heifer, you have to admire the fore rib she has, and a heifer that's super feminine, especially back through her hooks, thurls, and pins. Would just like to correct the way she tracks on her rear set of feet and legs, make her more feminine on the way her neck exits her body wall to compete with our first place bred heifer. But what a wonderful class of fall yearlings.
Again, congratulations to winner of that fall yearling class, entry number 57, G.E. Benter Warrior No Lie, exhibited by Peyton Tao and Benter Family Farms, Scottsville, Kentucky. Second in the class was entry number 56, Hinkasine Bend Realistic, exhibited by Josie LaFollette of Charlestown, Indiana. Now entering the ring in our Milking Shorthorn show are those animals that were first or second in their heifer classes this afternoon, competing for junior champion of our show. Over in our Brown Swiss show ring, Judge Tops completed his placing in our age cow class. Second in the class and second Kentucky owned was entry number 76, Double W Cade Tootie, exhibited by Knapp and Muse of Glasgow, Kentucky. Winning the class, first Kentucky owned, and winning the production award is entry number 49, Double W Richard Baltimore, exhibited by Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. Congratulations. Judge, your thoughts on our age cow class. Congratulations again to the winner of our age cow class in the Brown Swiss ring. She's also first Kentucky owned and won the production award. Entry number 49, Double W Richard Baltimore, exhibited by Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. Second in the class, entry number 76, Double W Cade Tootie, exhibited by Knapp and Muse of Glasgow, Kentucky. And third in the class, entry number 47, Rager Brothers Richard Lilly, exhibited by Brian Neerman of Brownstown, Indiana. Now entering the ring in our Brown Swiss show is our component merit cow class. As our heifers enter the ring over in our Milking Shorthorn show, it's a fantastic time to reintroduce them to you. These are the heifers that stood first or second this afternoon in our high quality Milking Shorthorn heifer show. There were 10 spring calves exhibited. Our winner was entry number 8, Windcrest Anheuser, exhibited by Jesse and Kylie Muse of Glasgow, Kentucky. Second in that class was entry number 9, Lazy M Greek Lillian, exhibited by Bailey and Tate Komar of Glasgow, Kentucky. There were 9 winter calves exhibited. Our class winner was entry number 24, Benter Bender's Lyrical, exhibited by Kevin Bentner, Bentner Family Farms of Brownstown, Indiana. Second in that class was entry number 18, Lazy M J.K. Lars Luxury, exhibited by Quisenberry, Buckley, and Kinslow of Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. There were 9 fall calves exhibited. Our class winner was entry number 31, Kentucky Blue Sweet Tea, exhibited by Gibson and Markham of Eminence, Kentucky. Second in the class, entry number 34, Molehill BF Mr. Chrome's Ziggy, exhibited by Peyton Tao of Scottsville, Kentucky. We had 3 summer yearlings. Our class winner was number 36, Benter Ventura Laura, exhibited by Benter Family Farms of Brownstown, Indiana. Second in the class, entry number 38, KADR Calgary Baby Z, exhibited by Delaney and Riley Oliger of Hagerstown, Indiana. There were also 3 spring yearlings. Our class winner was entry number 46, Mile High Quiet Riot, exhibited by Lucas and Lillian Hayes of Broadhead, Kentucky. Second in the class, entry number 45, Kentucky Blue HF Sprite, exhibited by Gibson and Stump of Eminence, Kentucky. There were 6 winter yearlings. Our class winner was entry number 49, Molehill's Inspired Arrogance, exhibited by Taylor Graves of Danville, Kentucky. Second in the class, entry number 48, Hardcore PV Cyride Sailor, exhibited by Noel and Tillman Peters and Benter Family Farms of Brownstown, Indiana. And we had a pair of fall yearlings exhibited. Our winner was entry number 57, G.E. Bender Warrior No Lie, exhibited by Peyton Tao of Scottsville, Kentucky. Second in the class, entry number 56, Hankasine Bend Realistic, exhibited by Josie LaFollette of Charlestown, Indiana. Congratulations to all of our milking shorthorn exhibitors. Very high quality heifer show here this afternoon. Over in our brown Swiss show ring, Judge Tops completed his placing in our component merit cow class, our solo entry. Our winner in the class is entry number 51. She's also first Kentucky-owned Shiloh Durango Tory, exhibited by Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. She's also our overall Kentucky State Fair milk production winner in the brown Swiss breed with 43,811 pounds of milk. So congratulations to Tori and Fairdale Farm. Judge, your thoughts on our component merit cow class winner?
Just a single entry.
Congratulations once again to Shiloh Durango Tori. She wins our component merit cow class, entry number 51. Again, she's our overall Kentucky milk production winner in the breed, 43,811 pounds of milk. Congratulations to Fairdale Farm. Now entering the ring in the brown Swiss breed are those cows that were first or second in our older cow classes today, competing for senior champion. We had 4 4-year-olds competing. Our winner was entry number 36, Fairdale Kickstart Figgy, exhibited by Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. Second in the class, entry number 74, Edgeview F. Susie, exhibited by Knapp and Buckley of Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. There were 3 5-year-olds. Our winner was entry number 40, Edgeview D. Sesame, exhibited by Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. Second in the class, entry number 42, Shiloh F. Martini Tallow, exhibited by Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. In our age cow class, we had 3 cows exhibited. Our winner was number 49, Double W. Richard Baltimore, exhibited by Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. Second in the class, entry number 76, Double W. Cade Tootie, exhibited by Knapp and Muse of Glasgow, Kentucky. And our winning component merit cow was entry number 51, Shiloh Durango Tory, exhibited by Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. These are the cows competing for the title of senior champion. And over in our milking shorthorn ring, Judge Sheets has pulled out his final lineup here in contention for junior champion. It's certainly been a beautiful heifer show over in our shorthorn breed. Judge, when you're ready, your thoughts and your selection of junior champion of our show.
Well, if we could, please give all the milking shorthorn heifer exhibitors a big round of applause. We had a really quality show in our heifer division, all the way from our March calves down to our fall yearlings. But for me today, I pulled out the 5 heifers that stuck out to me the most in the show. our first place March calf, our first and second place winter calf, first place fall calf, and our first place summer yearling. For me, these are all heifers that are square in their frame, heifers that track neatly on their rear set of feet and legs, and heifers that have adequate rib and depth, and heifers that have strength and mass to them. I'm going to go out and select your junior champion, reserve, and honorable mention in that order. Come back and give you some reasons why. For me today, this March calf, she just exemplifies style and balance and strength. A heifer that's so straight in her lines, a heifer that's so feminine and dairy up through her head and neck. Heifer you love the correctness and slope to her rump structure, and a heifer that tracks straight on her rear set of feet and legs. For me today, the heifer that follows most closely is our first place winter calf. A heifer you have to love the mass she has, especially to her midsection. A heifer that's so wide when you view her from behind and has so much openness and pop to that top of her rib cage. She uses that openness and pop to the top of her rib cage in the way her tail head sits down neatly between her pins to go over our second place winter calf for honorable mention. Two heifers that were really close in class. I don't want to split them up now, but we had a wonderful heifer show. Congratulations to all the exhibitors.
Congratulations to the junior champion of the 2026 Kentucky State Fair Milking Shorthorn Show. She's our winning spring calf, entry number 8, Windcrest Anheuser, exhibited by Jesse and Kylie Muse of Glasgow, Kentucky. Our reserve junior champion was our winning winter calf, entry number 24, Benter Bender's Lyrical, exhibited by Benter Family Farms of Brownstown, Indiana. And our honorable mention junior champion was our second place winter calf, entry number 18, Lazy M J.K. Lars Luxury, exhibited by Quisenberry, Buckley, and Kinslow of Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. Congratulations. Following just a few photos here in our milking shorthorn ring, we'll bring in our junior best 3 females group class, if we have any to compete for junior best 3. We'll follow that by moving into our milking classes with our milking yearling. And over in our milking shorthorn ring, we had one entry in our junior best 3 females class, the entry from Benter Family Farms of Brownstown, Indiana, and they're our winner. Congratulations. Judge, your thoughts on our junior best 3 group?
Well, we just have one entry out here for our junior best 3, but we have 3 individuals that all did extremely well in their show today. Heifers that won their class, 2 of which that were pulled out for junior champion or reserve junior champion. Heifers that all are cut from the same cloth. Heifers that the breeder should be proud of. Congratulations.
Congratulations once again to Benter Family Farms of Brownstown, Indiana, winning our junior best three group. Now we're going to move into our milking cow classes here in the Milking Shorthorn show, starting with our milking yearling. Over in our Brown Swiss show ring, Judge Tops pulled out his final four in contention for senior champion of our Kentucky State Fair Brown Swiss show. Judge?
Recently fresh here at Cal. Just like to see her get some rib back to get her on these big brood cows here for your senior champion. Congratulations.
Congratulations to the senior champion of the Kentucky State Fair Brown Swiss Show. She's our winning 5-year-old, entry number 40, Edgeview D. Sesame, exhibited by Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. Our reserve senior champion was our winning component merit cow, entry number 51, Shiloh Durango Tory, exhibited by Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. And our honorable mention senior champion was our winning 4-year-old cow, entry number 36, Fairdale Kickstart Figgy, once again exhibited by Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. Congratulations. Over in our Milking Shorthorn show ring, we have our lone entry here in our Milking Yearling class, and our winner and first Kentucky owned is entry number 64, LK Legend Man Fabulous, exhibited by Gracie Logston and McCoy Kinslow of Park City, Kentucky. Judge, your thoughts on our Milking Yearling?
Well, we just have one cow out here in our milking yearling class, but a cow that's recently fresh here, 45 days, a cow that could withstand a lot more competition. A cow you have to admire her hardness over top, a cow that has so much width, tracks on a nice set of feet and legs. And you get down to her mammary system, a cow you have to admire the teat size, shape, and placement, and the deep crease she has from the top of her rear udder all the way down to the bottom. Congratulations.
Congratulations once again in our Milking Shorthorn ring to our winning Milking Yearling, entry number 64, LK Legend Man Fabulous, exhibited by Gracie Logston and McCoy Kinslow, Park City, Kentucky. Now entering the ring in our Milking Shorthorn show is our junior 2-year-old class. And over in our Brown Swiss show ring, photos are complete. We'll be bringing in our intermediate champions to compete with our senior champions for the title of Grand Champion of our 2026 Kentucky State Fair Brown Swiss show. And we'll introduce our brown Swiss cows coming into the ring one more time. These are the 4 cows competing for Grand Champion of our Kentucky State Fair Brown Swiss show. From a little earlier today, our intermediate champions, they both came from our senior 2-year-old class. Entry number 20 was our winning senior 2-year-old, Edgeview C. Florence, exhibited by Archie Sparrow and Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. Second to her in that senior 2-year-old class, and our reserve intermediate champion was entry number 21, Edgeview C. Rhinestone, exhibited by Ridgeline and Lakin Taylor of Edmonton, Kentucky. Our senior champions that we just named, our senior champion was our winning 5-year-old cow, entry number 40, Edgeview D. Sesame, exhibited by Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. And our reserve senior champion was entry number 51, winner of our component merit cow class, Shiloh Durango Tory, exhibited by Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. Beautiful brown Swiss cow show here today. These are the cows competing for the title of Grand Champion. At this time, Judge Phil Tops grabbed the microphone. Looks like he's made his decision. There's lots of good things to deliberate on out there in the center of the ring. Judge, your thoughts and your selection of Grand Champion. Congratulations to the grand champion of the 2026 Kentucky State Fair Brown Swiss Show. She's our winning senior 2-year-old and intermediate champion and now grand champion. Entry number 20, Edgeview C. Florence, exhibited by Archie Sparrow and Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. Our reserve grand champion was our reserve intermediate champion and second senior 2-year-old, entry number 21, Edgeview C. Rhinestone, exhibited by Josh Jones of Ridgeline and Lakin Taylor of Edmonton, Kentucky. And our honorable mention grand champion was our senior champion, our winning 5-year-old, entry number 40, Edgeview D. Sesame, exhibited by Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. Congratulations. We'll take some photos, then we're going to move into our group classes here in the Brown Swiss breed before we start with our heifer show. Over in our milking Shorthorn show ring, judges completed his placing in our junior 2-year-old class. Second in the class is entry number 71, Milk and Duds Supreme Wild Card, exhibited by Bella Murphy and Golan Wright of Milk and Duds Farm of Daleville, Indiana. Winning the class and also first Kentucky owned is entry number 66, Betanon Tanbark Mirabelle P, exhibited by Skylar Mays of Glasgow, Kentucky. Judge, your thoughts on our junior 2-year-old class?
Oh, we have a really nice class of junior 2-year-olds out here. Some cows, different ages, different stages of lactations. But for me today, I think our cow that wins the class does so quite logically for me. A cow that's so smooth blending in all of her parts. A cow that's so feminine up through her head and neck. A cow that I prefer the slope and levelness from hooks to pins when she's on the move over our really nice uddered cow that comes out in second. Cow that comes out in second, you have to love the height and width to that rear udder, the definition of seam from the top of her udder down. Would just like to push her thurls up under her a little bit, level her out in the rump structure today to compete with our first place cow. But it is that bloom, height, and width to her rear udder today that takes us over our young Summer Junior 2 that comes out in third. Summer Junior 2, our cow that comes out in third over our cow that comes out in fourth. It's just on the definition of seam in the rear udder today and the width she has, especially in her forerib today over our cow that comes out in fifth. Cow that comes out in fifth, the cow you have to admire the height in which she has to her rear udder. Would just like to lengthen out her fore udder attachment, give her a little more depth of forerib today to compete with our other cows in the class. But what a wonderful class of cows.
There were 5 junior 2-year-olds exhibited today in our Milking Shorthorn show. Our class winner and first Kentucky owned was entry number 66, Betanon Tanbark Mirabelle P, exhibited by Skylar Mays of Glasgow, Kentucky. Second in the class, entry number 71, Milk and Duds Supreme Wild Card, exhibited by Milk and Duds Farm of Daleville, Indiana. Third in the class is entry number 86, Benter Dane Talented, exhibited by Benter Family Farms of Brownstown, Indiana. Fourth in the class and second Kentucky owned was entry number 68, Molehill Cyride's My Spirit, exhibited by Emma Thomas of Campbellsville, Kentucky. And fifth in the class is entry number 67, Bo Raquel, exhibited by Addison Largan of Turner Station, Kentucky. Now entering the ring in our Milking Shorthorn show is our senior 2-year-old class. Over in our Brown Swiss show, we're working on our senior best three females class. Over in our Brown Swiss show, Judge Tops completed his placing in our senior best three females class. Second in the class, entry from Caleb Lips of Shelbyville, Kentucky. And winning the class is our group from Miami Hills Swiss of Logansport, Indiana. Congratulations. Judge, your thoughts on our senior best three females group class?
To see these two gymnasts bring theirs back out for best three. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Now we'll be moving into our Produce of Dam group. Brown Swiss breeders, we need your Produce of Dam groups in the ring. Okay, scratch from our Produce of Dam class. We'll now move into our Dam and Daughter class in the Brown Swiss breed. This will be our final group class before we enter into our Spring Heifer Calf class. Brown Swiss breeders, if you have a spring calf, she should be at ringside. over in our Brown Swiss show ring. Judges completed his placing in our dam and daughter class. Second in the class to our dam and daughter from Caleb Lips of Shelbyville, Kentucky. And winning the class is a group from Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. Congratulations. Judge, your comments on our dam and daughter class.
Three really nice groups out here.
Congratulations again to Fairdale Farm, winning our dam and daughter class in the Brown Swiss breed. Second in the class to Caleb Lips of Shelbyville, Kentucky. And third to another group from Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. Now over Over in our Milking Shorthorn show ring, Judge Sheets has completed his placing in our senior 2-year-old cow class. Second in the class, entry number 73, Heavenly Sombrero, exhibited by Delaney and Riley Oliger of Hagerstown, Indiana. Winning the class is entry number 75, MMBE Sally, exhibited by Matthew Mannery of Milan, Indiana. Congratulations. Judge, your thoughts on our senior 2-year-olds?
Well, we have four really nice senior 2-year-olds out here, cows that have had one calf, cows that have had two calves. But that being said, I think we have a fairly logical winner in our first place cow, a cow that wears the best mammary system in the class. You love the venation she has all over the surface of her udder. A cow that's so silky hided, so clean up through her head and neck. She uses that silky hidedness and femininity to go over another really nice uddered cow that comes out in second. Cow that comes out in second, you have to admire the way her fore-udder blends into her body wall. A cow that tracks really nice on her rear set of feet and legs. Would just like to smooth the way her rear udder blends into the top of her body, or the top of her body there to get around our first place cow. But it's just the length from head to tail, strength and power, and depth of body that goes over our third place cow. Cow that comes out in third over our cow that comes out in fourth. A cow that I prefer the top of her udder showing me a little bit more bloom and definition of seam today. And a cow that stands with more width between her front legs. But congratulations to all four entries.
We had 4 senior 2-year-olds exhibited in our Milking Shorthorn show. Our winner was entry number 75, MMBE Sally, exhibited by Matthew Mannery of Milan, Indiana. Second in the class, entry number 73, Heavenly Sombrero, exhibited by Delaney and Riley Oliger of Hagerstown, Indiana. Third in the class and first Kentucky owned, entry number 76, Molehills Tanbark Ring of Fire, exhibited by Raylan Tucker of Shelbyville, Kentucky. And fourth in the class, entry number 74, Almost Paradise Flamin' Zeta, exhibited by Milk and Duds Farm of Daleville, Indiana. Now entering the ring in our Milking Shorthorn show is our junior 3-year-old class. Sorry, I'll back up what I said there about our Milking Shorthorn show. This is our 2-year-old futurity class. In the ring now in our Milking Shorthorn show is our 2-year-old futurity class. We always do like to acknowledge these animals and who they are. These were nominated as calves to come here and show as 2-year-olds, so a lot of foresight by their breeders. Entry number 66 is Betnon Tanbark Mirabelle P, exhibited by Skylar Mays of Glasgow, Kentucky. Entry number 68 is Molehill Cyride's My Spirit, exhibited by Emma Thomas of Campbellsville, Kentucky. Entry number 73 is Heavenly Sombrero, exhibited by Delaney and Riley Oliger of Hagerstown, Indiana. And entry number 75 is MMBE Sally, exhibited by Matthew Mannery of Milan, Indiana. These are our 4 cows that make up our 2-year-old futurity. Over in our brown Swiss ring, we're going to start our heifer show. We have got our spring heifer calves entering the ring at this time. And over in our milking shorthorn show ring, Judge Sheets has completed his placing in our 2-year-old futurity class. Second in the class is entry number 66, Betnon Tanmark Mirabelle P, exhibited by Skylar Mays of Glasgow, Kentucky. And winning our futurity is entry number 75, MMBE Sally, exhibited by Matthew Mannery of Milan, Indiana. Congratulations, Judge. Your thoughts on our futurity class?
Well, when we get our 2-year-olds back out here, it's quite an accomplishment, like Kathleen said, to enter these animals as calves and then bring them back out as milk cows. So the breeders, all the breeders should be extremely proud. But for me today, I'm going to stick with our senior 2-year-old, a cow that just blows you away in her strength and her balance, a cow that has so much quality and variation on the surface of her mammary system. The cow, you have to admire the height in which she has at the top of her mammary system. It's the height and width today at the top of the mammary system that takes her over our junior 2-year-old cow that comes out in second. Our cow that comes out in second, extremely flashy cow, extremely feminine cow. And it's that overall femininity that takes her over our other senior 2-year-old that comes out here in third. Our cow that comes out here in third, like I said in class, a cow that I absolutely admire her fore-udder attachment. A cow I just wish showed me a little bit more seam at the top of her rear udder, height and width. And a cow that was just a little cleaner all the way throughout, especially down through her bone. But she uses that depth to her midsection, strength to her loin to go over our cow that comes out in fourth. Congratulations to all the breeders on a wonderful class of futurity cows.
Congratulations again to our futurity entries. Now entering the ring in our milking shorthorn show is our junior 3-year-old class. Over in our Milking Shorthorn show ring, Judge Sheets has completed his placing in our junior 3-year-old class. Second in the class and second Kentucky owned is entry number 80, Kentucky Blue WH Adrenaline, exhibited by Gibson, Stump, and Elmore of Eminence, Kentucky. And winning the class and his first Kentucky owned is entry number 77, Corstar MM Roomba, exhibited by Bailey and Tate Colmar of Glasgow, Kentucky. Congratulations. Judge, your thoughts on our junior 3-year-old class?
Well, here in our class of junior 3-year-olds, we have a lot of quality entries all the way down. But for me today, I think we have a handy winner, a cow just that overwhelms you in her dairy character and her femininity, especially up through her head and neck, a cow that's so hard over her top line, and a cow that's level from hooks to pins, and a cow you have to admire the vanation she has on her fore-udder attachment. It's that levelness from hooks to pins and the way she travels on her rear set of feet and legs that takes us over this recently fresh cow that comes out in second. Cow that comes out in second, just recently fresh, but a cow you have to love the width she has, the depth of forerib she has, and a cow you have to admire the height she has at the top of the rear udder. And it's that height at the top of the rear udder that takes us over this really strong roan cow that comes out in third. Cow that comes out in third, you have to admire for how strong she is up to her front end, a cow that has so much breed characteristic. A cow I just like to snug an upper fore-udder attachment, smoother blending into her body wall, and a cow that I'd like to see be a little higher at the top of her rear udder today. But a cow that uses her depth of forward and rear rib to go over our really pretty uddered cow that comes out in fourth. Our cow that comes out in fourth is a cow you have to admire the vanation she has on her mammary system on her front 2 quarters and rear 2 quarters. But a cow I'd like to see just track, follow her front feet a little nicer when she's on the move today to compete with our top 4 entries. But she uses that levelness and symmetry in the rear quarters to go over our really strong red cow that comes out in fifth. Cow that comes out in fifth, you have to admire the depth and strength she has. Just like to level out her rear quarters today, correct her teat placement on the floor of her udder to compete with the rest of the class.
And if you turn your attention over to our brown Swiss show ring, Judge Topps completed his placing in our spring calf class. Second in the class and second Kentucky owned is entry number 62, Ridgeline Alley's C. Avery, exhibited by Ridgeline Genetics and Maggie Blair of Edmonton, Kentucky. And winning the class and first Kentucky owned is entry number 66, Nap Timeout Oracle, exhibited by Colton Luke Buckley and Saltzman of Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. Congratulations. Judge, your thoughts on our spring heifer calf class? Congratulations again to the winner of that spring calf class in the brown Swiss breed. Also first Kentucky owned Nap Timeout Oracle, exhibited by Colt and Luke Buckley and Saltzman of Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. Second in the class and second Kentucky owned was entry number 62, Ridgeline Alley C. Avery, exhibited by Ridgeline Genetics and Maggie Blair of Edmonton, Kentucky. Third in the class, entry number 60, Ridgeline Design Logo, exhibited by Ridgeline Genetics of Edmonton, Kentucky. Fourth to entry number 68, WF Power Surge Nikki, exhibited by Kylie Sparrow and Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. Fifth in the class, to entry number 65, South Spork Playmaker Tater, exhibited by Lakin Taylor of Glasgow, Kentucky. Sixth in the class, to entry number 61, K&K Timeout Finley, exhibited by Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. Seventh, to entry number 63, Rough Road Full Throttle Porsche, exhibited by Jeremy and Kelsey Kinslow of Smiths Grove, Kentucky. Eighth in the class, to entry number 67, Fairdale Full Throttle Agate, exhibited by Archie Sparrow of Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. Ninth in the class, to entry number 64, Fairdale Design Jelly Bean, exhibited by Anson and Annie Newcomb of Worthville, Kentucky. And 10th in the class, to entry number 120, Willow Bee Rampage Dream, exhibited by Abby Pardue of Scottsville, Kentucky. Now entering the ring in our Brown Swiss show is our Winter Heifer Calf class. Over in our Milking Shorthorn show, Judge Sheets has completed his placings in our senior 3-year-old cow class. Second in the class is entry number 87, Milk and Duds Supreme TT, exhibited by Milk and Duds Farm of Daleville, Indiana. Winning the class is entry number 88, Kentucky Blue Rockstar Dew, exhibited by Gibson and Stump of Eminence, Kentucky. Judge, your thoughts on our senior 3-year-olds?
Well, we have 3 entries out here in our senior 3-year-old class, but that being said, I think we have a fairly handy winner, a cow that just overwhelms you with her overall size and scale and mass, a cow that's so wide in her front end, carries that width all the way back through her pins. The cow that I also grant wears the best mammary system in the class today. She uses that advantage in mammary system today in depth of rear rib to go over our cow that comes out in second. Red cow that comes out in second, cow you have to admire for straightness and lines. Cow that I prefer the way she holds her loin when she's on the move compared to our first place cow. But a cow I just like to see have more bloom and height and width at the top of that rear udder and definition to seam all the way down. But she uses that overall strength and balance to get over our cow that comes out in third. Cow that comes out in third, cow that's recently fresh. Cow, you have to admire the length she has from head to tail. We just like to see her be a little fuller in all 4 of her quarters today to compete with our first 2 cows. But 3 really nice entries in our senior 3-year-old class.
Congratulations again to the winner of that senior 3-year-old class. Entry number 88, also first Kentucky owned, Kentucky Blue Rockstar Dew, exhibited by Gibson and Stump of Eminence, Kentucky. Second in the class, entry number 87, Milk and Duds Supreme TT, exhibited by Milk and Duds Farm of Daleville, Indiana. And third in the class, entry number 84, G.E. Krause's Lone Ranger 206, exhibited by Hatfield Chambers and Ridings of Lebanon Junction, Kentucky. Now entering the ring are those cows that were first or second this afternoon in our Young Cow Show. They're competing for intermediate champion of our Milking Shorthorn Show. As our cows come into the ring, competing for intermediate champion of our Milking Shorthorn Show, we'll introduce them to you again. Winning our Milking Yearling class was entry number 64, LK Legend Man Fabulous, exhibited by Gracie Logsdon and McCoy Kinslow of Park City, Kentucky. There were 5 junior 2-year-olds exhibited. Our winner was entry number 66, Betting on 10 Bark Mirabelle P, exhibited by Skylar Mays of Glasgow, Kentucky. Second in that class was entry number 71, Milk and Duds Supreme Wild Card, exhibited by Milk and Duds Farm of Daleville, Indiana. There were 4 senior 2-year-olds. Our class winner was entry number 75, MMBE Sally, exhibited by Matthew Mannery of Milan, Indiana. Second in the class, entry number 73, Heavenly Sombrero, exhibited by Delaney and Riley Oliger of Hagerstown, Indiana. There were 5 junior 3-year-olds. Our class winner was entry number 77, Corstar MM Roomba, exhibited by Bailey and Tate Komar of Glasgow, Kentucky. Second in the class, entry number 80, Kentucky Blue WH Adrenaline, exhibited by Gibson, Stump, and Elmore of Eminence, Kentucky. And we had 3 senior 3-year-olds exhibited. Our class winner was entry number 88, Kentucky Blue Rockstar Dew, exhibited by Gibson and Stump of Eminence, Kentucky. Second in the class, entry number 87, Milk and Duds Supreme TT, exhibited by Milk and Duds Farm of Daleville, Indiana. Congratulations to our Milking Shorthorn breeders and exhibitors on a really fine young cow show here this afternoon. And over in our Milking Shorthorn show ring, Judge Sheets has pulled out his final 4 here in contention for intermediate champion of our Kentucky State Fair Milking Shorthorn show. Judge, your thoughts and your selection of intermediate champion of our show.
Well, I pulled out the 4 young cows out of our young cow divisions today that stood out to me the most. Take nothing away from these cows that are on the rail or some of the cows that are back in the barn. It was a really wonderful young cow show today. Go to a lot of state fairs and don't see milking shorthorn shows this large with this much quality. So kudos to the breeders. Makes me excited to see some of the older cows. That being said, I pulled out the 4 cows that stood out to me the most today. Our first place yearling in milk, first place junior 2, first place senior 2, and our first place junior 3. Cows that are square in their frame, cows that have awesome mammary systems, and cows that are functional on their feet and legs. I'm going to go out and select your intermediate champion, your reserve, and honorable mention, and come back and tell you why afterwards. For me today, when we get these cows back out here, this senior 2-year-old still stands out to me. A cow that has so much width, so much mass to her midsection, and a cow that wears an awesome mammary system, a cow that has so much venation on the surface of her mammary system, a cow that has correct teat size, shape, and placement, and a cow that's showing me the most definition of seam when viewed from behind today. She uses that advantage and definition of seam to go over our first place Junior 3 for Reserve Intermediate Champion. Our Reserve Intermediate Champion, such a dairy individual in her own right, a cow that's so straight in her lines, and a cow that has a wonderful mammary system herself. Just like to see her have more definition of seam when viewed from behind, more width through her front end today to compete with our senior 2. But she uses that cleanliness of bone, especially down through her hock and all the way throughout, to go over our recently fresh fall yearling and milk here. Our fall yearling and milk, for honorable mention, a cow that's just fresh, about 40 days, but a cow to me that's only going to get better with time as she keeps milking. A cow that's going to go on to the fall shows and do a great job for the owners. But what a wonderful young cow show today for our milking shorthorns exhibitors. If we could, please give them another round of applause.
Congratulations to the intermediate champion of the 2026 Kentucky State Fair Milking Shorthorn Show. Our intermediate champion was our winning senior 2-year-old number 75, MMBE Sally, exhibited by Matthew Mannery of Milan, Indiana. Our reserve intermediate champion was our winning junior 3-year-old, entry number 77, Corstar MM Roomba, exhibited by Bailey and Tate Komar of Glasgow, Kentucky. And our intermediate honorable mention intermediate champion was our winning milking yearling, entry number 64, LK Legend Man Fabulous, exhibited by Gracie Logsdon and McCoy Kinslow of Park City, Kentucky. Congratulations. If you turn your In our Milking Shorthorn show now, we'll move into our 4-year-old cow class. If you turn your attention over to our Brown Swiss show, Judge Tops completed his placing in our Winter Heifer Calf class. Second in the class is entry number 72, Ridgeline Alley's R Ascend, exhibited by Maggie Blair of Edmonton, Kentucky. And winning the class was entry number 71. Also first Kentucky owned, Fairdale Design Toby, exhibited by Colt and Luke Buckley of Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. Congratulations. Judge, your thoughts on our winter calf class? Congratulations once again to the winner of our winter calf class. There were 10 winter calves exhibited. Our winner was entry number 71, also first Kentucky owned, Fairdale Design Toby, exhibited by Colt and Luke Buckley of Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. Second in the class, entry number 72, also second Kentucky owned, Ridgeline Alley's R Ascend, exhibited by Maggie Blair of Edmonton, Kentucky. Third in the class, entry number 81, South Spork Timeout Katie, exhibited by Lakin Taylor of Glasgow, Kentucky. Fourth in the class, entry number 84, Bratcher W.C. Danica, exhibited by Spoonamore and Bratcher of Stanford, Kentucky. Fifth, entry number 78, Nap DD Crazy Train, exhibited by Josie LaFollette of Charlestown, Indiana. Sixth in the class, entry number 75, Fairdale W.C. Raspberry, exhibited by Kylie Sparrow of Fairdale Farm, Worthville, Kentucky. Seventh in the class, entry number 73, Neerman's Norwin Renly, exhibited by Neerman and Buckley of Brownstown, Indiana. Eighth in the class, entry number 82, Fairdale Timeout Noel, exhibited by Anson and Andy Newcomb of Worthville, Kentucky. Ninth, to entry number 77, Wapsie Anna Cliff Colby, exhibited by Grant Mitchell and Caleb Lips of Shelbyville, Kentucky. And 10th in the class to entry number 83, Paradigm Diego Parfait, exhibited by Harrison and Aniston Obert of Georgetown, Kentucky. Congratulations. Now entering the ring in our Brown Swiss show is our fall calf class. Over in our Milking Shorthorn show ring, Judge Sheets has completed his placing in our 4-year-old cow class. Second in the class to entry number 95, Benter Lynn Lila, exhibited by Benter Family Farms of Brownstown, Indiana. Winning the class, first Kentucky owned, and also winning the production award is entry number 94, Lazy M. Lars Lucy, exhibited by Jeremy and Kelsey Kinslow of Smiths Grove, Kentucky. Congratulations. Judge, your comments on our 4-year-old cow class.
Well, just 3 cows out here in our 4-year-old milking shorthorn show. But for me today, I think we have a fairly handy winner, a cow that just overwhelms you in her size and scale and mass, a cow that has so much depth and openness to her midsection, and a cow that when you get behind her has so much width between her pins, and a cow that I prefer the way her tail head sits down neater between her pins today. Than our cow that comes out in second. Also prefer the width at the top of the rear udder today over our cow that comes out in second. The definition is seen from the top of the rear udder down to the floor of the udder. Take nothing away from our cow that comes out in second. Another cow you have to admire for her spring and openness to her midsection. A cow I just like to see have a little bit more width up through her front end and hold herself a little stronger in her loin today to compete with our first place cow. But she uses that height at the top of her udder to go over our third place cow today. Cow that comes out in third. Cow I just like to see have a little bit more bloom in her rear quarters today, smoothing up her fore udder attachment to compete with our first 2 cows. But 3 really nice 4-year-olds.
Congratulations to the winner of our 4-year-old class in the Milking Shorthorn ring, entry number 94. She's also first Kentucky owned and won the production award. Lazy M. Lars Lucy, exhibited by Jeremy and Kelsey Kinslow of Smiths Grove, Kentucky. Second in the class, entry number 95, Benter Lynn Lila, exhibited by Kevin Benter of Brownstown, Indiana. And third in the class, entry number 14, Milk and Duds Farm, exhibited by Milk and Duds Farm of Daleville, Indiana. Congratulations. Now entering the ring in our Milking Shorthorn show is our 5-year-old class. We'd also like to make an announcement to all of our dairy cattle show exhibitors from all of our breeds. Announcement from Ultimate Core and the group over at Kiteling Core Jerseys. You may know that a dear friend and longtime Kentucky State Fair exhibitor Ronnie Ryder passed away just earlier this month. And certainly the barns feel a little more empty without Ronnie there. Ronnie was an exemplary cowman and a staple on the center aisle. He was really one of those people you'd walk up and down the aisle. He always had something to say, and he always had a laugh. And one of a person who had just a boatload of joy in showing cattle here. They want you to know there's a small memorial set up for Ronnie in his usual spot on the center aisle. And tomorrow morning, Sunday morning at 7 a.m., before the show begins, there'll also be a short memorial in his honor. So if you're at the fair here tomorrow morning, hope you'll join the group over at KCJF Jerseys and remember a legendary Kentucky dairyman and someone that was a friend to pretty much everyone here at the Kentucky State Fair. Once again, tomorrow morning, a short memorial for Ronnie Ryder in what was his usual spot in the center aisle at 7 a.m. And over in our Milking Shorthorn show, Judge Sheets has completed his placing in our 5-year-old cow class. Winning the class is second in the class, is entry number 103, Benter Delight Dolly, exhibited by Milk and Duds Farm of Daleville, Indiana. Winning the class and first Kentucky owned is entry number 101, Betanon Lottery Magnolia, exhibited by Skylar Mays of Glasgow, Kentucky. Congratulations. Judge, your thoughts on our 5-year-old cows?
All just two entries here in our 5-year-old division, but both cows fresh about 60 days with 4 calves. For me today, the red cow, she's a logical winner, a cow that you just have to admire for that dairy strength, the natural uphill run, a cow that you have to admire the way she holds her loin when she's on the move, and a cow that I prefer the way her foreudder blends into her body wall and the height and width and fullness at the top of her rear quarters today over our second place cow. Cow that comes out in second, a wonderful individual in her own right. A cow I just like to see her follow her front feet a little neater with less set to those hocks when she's on the move. The cow hold her loin a little harder, but a cow you have to admire for her femininity up through her head and neck. Two wonderful entries.
Congratulations again to the winner of our 5-year-old cow class in our milking shorthorn breed, entry number 101, Betting on Lottery Magnolia, exhibited by Skylar Mays of Glasgow, Kentucky. Second in the class, entry number 103, Bentner Delight Dolly, exhibited by Milk and Duds Farm of Daleville, Indiana. Now entering the ring is our age cow class in the milking shorthorn show ring. And a lone entry here in our H-Cow class in the Milking Shorthorn Show Ring. Judge Sheets has completed his placing in our class, and our winner is entry number 104. Also first Kentucky owned Hardcore Lottery Fireworks, exhibited by Tao and Croshaw, Scottsville, Kentucky. Congratulations. Preston, your thoughts on our H-Cow?
Well, just one entry here in our age cow division, but an individual in her own right, 8 years old, a cow that's had 5 calves, and a cow you have to admire for the way she still moves so freely around the ring. A cow that is the epitome of dairy strength, length from head to tail as long as the train. A cow that could withstand some more competition today, but congratulations to the young lady.
Congratulations once again to our winning age cow, Hardcore Lottery Fireworks, exhibited by Tao and Croshaw of Scottsville, Kentucky. Now we'll move into our selection of senior champion of our Milking Shorthorn show. These are the cows that stood first or second in our older cow classes here today. From our 4-year-old cow class, there were 3 4-year-olds exhibited. Our winner was entry number 94, Lazy M. Lars Lucy, exhibited by Jeremy and Kelsey Kinslow of Smiths Grove, Kentucky. Second in that class was entry number 95, Benter Lynn Lila, exhibited by Kevin Benter of Brownstown, Indiana. There were 2 5-year-olds exhibited. Our class winner was entry number 101, Betting on Lottery Magnolia, exhibited by Skylar Mays of Glasgow, Kentucky. Second in that class was entry number 103, Benter Delight Dolly, exhibited by Milk and Duds Farm of Daleville, Indiana. And there was our 1H cow exhibited. Class winner was entry number 104, Hardcore Lottery Fireworks, exhibited by Tao and Croshaw of Scottsville, Kentucky. These 5 cows are competing for the title of senior champion of our Kentucky State Fair Milking Shorthorn show. As we move towards the high point of our Milking Shorthorn show, selection of Grand and Reserve Grand Champion. We'd like to remind anyone that has a Grand Champion in our dairy shows that they do need to take their milk testing card along with an EID or registration paper to the testing site, the examination area, as soon as possible, right after your championship classes, please, to take a milk sample. Kentucky State Fair runs at the very highest levels of ethics, and we're proud to hold the show to those standards. Please don't remove your teat sealant, and removal of any milk prior to testing will result in automatic disqualification. So if you are a champion or reserve champion, please take those cows over to the milk sampling area behind the show ring here as soon as you can when your duties are completed in the show ring. At this time, over in our Milking Shorthorn show ring, looks like Judge Sheets has reached for the microphone. Pretty good signal that he's finished his deliberations. He's got 5 of our older cows out here in the ring competing for the title of Senior Champion Female of our show. Judge, your thoughts and your selection of our Senior Champion.
Well, when we get these older cows back out here, I just pulled them all out. All cows that you have to admire, the strength they have, the length from head to tail. Cows that all have respectable mammary systems with good attachments. If we could, please give the Milking Shorthorn exhibitors a round of applause. I'm going to go out and select your senior champion, your reserve, and honorable mention afterwards. Give you some reasons when I'm done. For me today, when we get these cows back out here, this 4-year-old, she still just blows you away with her mass and her strength. We're still having a lot of dairy style to her. A cow that I also appreciate the mammary system she wears, the height in which she has to her rear udder. It's that overall strength and width all the way throughout, the way she carries her loin when she's on the move and standing still to go over our second place 4-year-old. Second place 4-year-old, a beautiful individual in her own right, a cow that you just love to spring and openness to her rib, a cow that's about to go dry here in a couple weeks. But I'm going to give her the advantage for the height at the top of the rear udder and the way her fore udder blends into her body wall over our 5-year-old that's just been fresh 60 days here. But what a wonderful lineup we had for senior champion. Congratulations to all the exhibitors.
Congratulations to our senior champion of our 2026 Kentucky State Fair Milking Shorthorn show. She's our winning 4-year-old, entry number 94, Lazy M. Lars Lucy, exhibited by Jeremy and Kelsey Kinslow of Smiths Grove, Kentucky. Our reserve senior champion was our second place 4-year-old, entry number 95, Benter Lynn Lila, exhibited by Benter Family Farms of Brownstown, Indiana. And our honorable mention senior champion was our winning 5-year-old cow, entry number 101, Betnon Lottery Magnolia, exhibited by Skylar Mays of Glasgow, Kentucky. Congratulations. Over in our Brown Swiss show ring, Judge Tops completed his placing in our fall calf class. Second in the class goes to entry number 96, Nap Woody Dolly 900, exhibited by Brian Pacheco, Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. Winning the class is entry number 86, also first Kentucky-owned, Windy Hollow Design Wowzer, exhibited by Colt and Luke Buckley of Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. Congratulations. Judge, your thoughts on our fall calf class? Congratulations to the winner of that Brown Swiss Fall Calf class. There were 11 fall calves exhibited. Our winner was entry number 86. Also, first Kentucky owned Windy Hollow Design Wowzer, exhibited by Colt and Luke Buckley of Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. Second in the class, entry number 96, Knapp Woody Dolly 900, exhibited by Brian Pacheco of Kernan, California. Third in the class and second Kentucky owned was entry number 95, Fairdale Design Jolene, exhibited by Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. Fourth in the class, entry number 89, Ridgeline Alleys R. Amelie, exhibited by Ridgeline and Mannion of Edmonton, Kentucky. Fifth in the class, entry number 100, Boshona Deluxe Frisky, exhibited by Anne-Marie Settles of Clayton, Indiana. Sixth in the class, entry number 98, Paradigm SC Olivia, exhibited by Grace and Elliot Cull of Georgetown, Kentucky. Seventh in the class, entry number 93, Red Carpet D Charismatic, exhibited by Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. Eighth in the class, entry number 88, Bratcher Design Desiree, exhibited by Spoonamore and Bratcher of Stanford, Kentucky. Ninth to entry number 94, K&K Ray Prey, exhibited by Anson and Andy Newcomb. And 10th in the class to entry number 91, Ridgeline Alleys R. Aroma, exhibited by Hannah Henson of Woodruff, South Carolina. Now entering the ring in the Brown Swiss Show is our Summer Yearling class. Over in our Milking Shorthorn Show, our judge is making his selection for grand champion of our show. We've brought our intermediate champions back into the ring. Our intermediate champion was our winning senior 2-year-old, entry number 75, MMBE Sally, exhibited by Matthew Mannery of Milan, Indiana. Our reserve intermediate champion was our winning junior 3-year-old, entry number 77, Corestar MM Roomba, exhibited by Bailey and Tate Komar. Our senior champions, once again, was our winning 4-year-old cow, entry number 94, Lazy M. Lars Lucy, exhibited by Jeremy and Kelsey Kinslow of Smiths Grove, Kentucky. And our reserve senior champion was our second place 4-year-old, entry number 95, Benter Lynn Lila, exhibited by Benter Family Farms of Brownstown, Indiana. These are our final 4 cows left out in contention for the title of Grand Champion of our 2026 Kentucky State Fair Milking Shorthorn Show. And Judge, when you're ready, I'd like to hear your thoughts on our final 4 and your selection of Grand Champion.
Well, when we get our intermediate champions back out here with our senior champions, it just blows you away with the quality. All the way through the heifer show, the young cow show, and the old cow show today. As Philip said earlier in the other ring, you travel a lot of state fairs and don't find quality like this. So I think that's a true testimony to the breeders and exhibitors of these animals. So if we could, put your hands together and give the Milking Shorthorn exhibitors a big round of applause. We get our 4 cows back out here. I'm very happy with the cows that I found today. Cows that have a lot of openness to their rib structure. Cows that have good mammary systems with veination on them. Cows that are dairy. I think cows that the Milking Shorthorn breed is striving to breed for. I'm going to go out now and select your grand champion, your reserve grand champion, and honorable mention in that order. I'll give you some reasons after, but when I do, if you could, please give them a big round of applause. For me today, when this 4-year-old hit the ring, it was pretty lights out. A cow that's just recently fresh here, but a cow that you have to admire the dairy strength, a cow that has so much width, I've said it 3 times now, but when you get behind this cow, a cow that you can put both your palms in between her pins and still have space on both sides. Along with that, a cow you have to admire the width she adds to her mammary system, and a cow that has so much height and width at the top of her rear udder. Take nothing away from our intermediate champion that's going to be your reserve champion cow. A cow you have to admire her hardness over her top line, and a cow that in her own right has a great mammary system with venation on her rear quarters. I'm going to give her the advantage today again, just like I did in intermediate champion class today, and definition of seam and width up through the front end over our junior 3-year-old for honorable mention. But we had a wonderful cow show today, wonderful heifer show today. Thank you guys for having me. I've had a lot of fun.
Congratulations to the grand champion of the 2026 Kentucky State Fair Milking Shorthorn Show. She's our senior champion, our winning 4-year-old cow. She's also fittingly our overall production award winner in our Milking Shorthorn Show, entry number 94, Lazy M. Lars Lucy, exhibited by Jeremy and Kelsey Kinslow of Smiths Grove, Kentucky. Our reserve grand champion was our intermediate champion, our winning senior 2-year-old, entry number 75, MMBE Sally, exhibited by Matthew Mannery of Milan, Indiana. And our honorable mention grand champion was our reserve intermediate champion, our winning junior 3-year-old, entry number 77, Corstar MM Roomba, exhibited by Bailey and Tate Komar of Glasgow, Kentucky. Congratulations. If you turn your attention over to our Brown Swiss show ring at this time, Judge Tops completed his placing in our summer yearling class. Second in the class goes to entry number 105, Red Carpet Kick-Up, exhibited by Brian Neerman of Brownstown, Indiana. Winning the class is entry number 103, Buck Meadow 2 Ivy League, TO Ivy League, exhibited by Brian Pacheco of Kernan, California. Congratulations. Judge, your comments on our summer yearling class. We had 4 summer yearlings exhibited. Congratulations to our winner, entry number 103, Buck Meadow TO Ivy League, exhibited by Brian Pacheco of Kernan, California. Second in the class to entry number 105, Red Carpet Kick-Up, exhibited by Brian Neerman of Brownstown, Indiana. Third in the class and first Kentucky owned to entry number 101, Apex Rasta Lillian, exhibited by Fairdale Farm of Worthville, Kentucky. And fourth in the class to entry number 102, i.e. Arnita Desperado Jewels, exhibited by Lauren Hibschman and Aiden Tusing of Syracuse, Indiana. Now in the ring in our Brown Swiss show is our junior yearling, our spring yearling class. And over in our Milking Shorthorn ring, we're entering the group class phase of our show. I believe in the class at this time is our Dam and Daughter class. In our Milking Shorthorn show ring, Judge Sheets has completed his placing in our Dam and Daughter class. Congratulations to our second place group from Benter Family Farms of Brownstown, Indiana. And winning the class is our group from Schuyler Mays. Congratulations. Judge, comments on our Dam and Daughter class.
Well, we have 5 groups out here for dam and daughter, and like I've said a couple times today, it's a testament to the breeders of these animals. But for me today, I'm going to stick with the maturity. In our first place group, 2 cows that won their classes, 2 cows that were both pulled out for champions. I'm going to stick with their maturity and uniformity and their mammary systems over our second place group. Take nothing away from our second place group, 2 class winners as well. I just prefer the maturity we have in our first place group. Second over third, I'm going to go with the overall width of the animals over our third place group, but take nothing away from our group in third. Group in third over our group in fourth. I prefer the way their shoulders blend into their body wall over our group in fourth, but 5 tremendous dam and daughter groups out here. Congratulations to the breeders.
Congratulations to the winner of our Dam and Daughter group class, Schuyler Mays of Glasgow, Kentucky. Second in the class, entry number to the group from Benter Family Farms of Brownstown, Indiana. Third to Bailey Komar of Glasgow, Kentucky. Fourth to Raylan Tucker of Shelbyville, Kentucky. And fifth to Peyton Tao of Scottsville, Kentucky. Now we'll bring our best 3 females group into the ring, group class into the ring. Over in our Brown Swiss show ring, Judge Tops completed his placing in our spring yearling class. Second in the class is entry number 110, Blessing Garborough F. Glenda, exhibited by Stuckeyholm of Milford, Indiana. And winning the class and first Kentucky owned is entry number 116, Buckmeadow Design Wizzy, exhibited by Buckley, Saltzman, Carrier, and Borba of Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. Congratulations. Judge, your thoughts on our spring yearling class? If you turn your attention over to the Milking Shorthorn show ring, judges completed his placing in our best 3 females group class. Our winner is entry 117 from Milk and Duds Farm of Daleville, Indiana. Judge, your comment on our best 3 females group.
Well, just a single entry here in our senior best 3 females group, but definitely a group that's deserving of a blue ribbon today, a group you have to admire the mammary systems of the cows, all cows that have big open barrels to them and cows that track on a nice set of feet and legs. Congratulations to the breeders.
Congratulations once again to Milk and Duds Farm of Daleville, Indiana with our first place best 3 females. Now entering the ring is our final class of the day in our Milking Shorthorn show, our Produce of Dam class. I think we've kept it easy for our judge. We'll let him coast out of here on another solo entry. Congratulations to our class winner for the Produce of Dam group from Bentner Family Farms of Brownstown, Indiana. Judge, comments on our Produce of Dam?
Well, again, just one entry here in our Produce a Dam class, but two individuals in their own right that did a tremendous job today in their show. We have our reserve senior champion and our reserve junior champion, two peas in a pod. After knowing that this is the dam of the winter calf, I'd be anxious to see how she calves in for these two gentlemen. But congratulations to the breeder of these two animals.
Congratulations once again to Bentner Family Farms of Brownstown, Indiana, their winning Produce of Dam. That wraps up our Kentucky State Fair Milking Shorthorn show. Thanks to our judge, Preston Sheets. Really wonderful job working through our Milking Shorthorn show. Red and white show exhibitors, your show will start on time at 3:30. We have a ring that's free. We'll be starting that show on time. Our judge is here already, and we look forward to seeing our red and white heifers here this afternoon. Catch up in our catalog in our